This is the new Mercedes EQB, and it's a little bit like astatine. Right, you don't know what astatine is? Didn't you go to school? It's the rarest element on Earth. Only about 25 grams of the stuff is present on the Earth naturally at any one time. This is rare too. It's an electric 7-seat SUV. There ain't many of those. I can just think of the Tesla Model X and the Tesla Model Y right now. If you can think of some others, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to talk you around the Mercedes EQB, the styling upgrades, the changes on the inside. I'm going to take it for a drive, see what it's like. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. Astatine. Who knew? I didn't know, and I did a chemistry degree. I just looked it up on Google.
Buying a new car? Then head to Carwow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. Carwow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Let's start this video by talking about the main thing that separates this EQB from the GLB on which it is based, and that's the fact it comes with two electric motors. There's two versions as well. There's the EQB 300, which has a combined output of 228 horsepower and is good for 0 to 60 in 7.7 seconds, or there's this one, the 350, which has a combined output of 292 horsepower and can do 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. Now, the starting price of the EQB range is £52,000, and if you want to see the very best offers on the latest electric cars, click on the pop-out banner up there, follow the link in the description, because I found some through Carwow. Now, if you want to do that later, you can just simply Google "Help Me Carwow," and my team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. Because there's no internal combustion engine that needs cooling, the EQB has a blanked out grille. Now, there's some other differentiators for this electric version of the GLB, such as this strip here, which illuminates when you turn your lights on. In fact, the headlights have these blue elements in them to signify electricity, and there's some more blanked out parts there as well because you don't need all those cooling vents. Now, there's something that I've noticed just being down here, and it appears that there's heating elements just in this Mercedes badge, and that's to stop it getting condensation and ice in there, so you can always see the three-pointed star. That's a really clever solution, but it looks like the engineers gave up on clever solutions when it came to fitting the surround view cameras and the camera at the front, because look at this, it's just there. It sort of looks like the car's got a big horrible mole next to its nose. What's even more horrible is that obviously this car isn't fitted with a surround view camera package because this camera is blanked out. It's horrible. At the side, there are very little changes over the normal GLB, apart from some slightly different alloy wheel designs. Starting at 19 inches, these are the snazzy optional 20s. And you get an EQB badging there on the wing. Here at the back, the EQB gets this rather snazzy light bar, and this affects the design of the rest of the rear. You see, because you've got that light bar there, they've had to move the Mercedes badge, which is on the GLB there, down to here. And as the badge is now there, they've had to then move the number plate, which was here, down to here, which has required a new lower bumper section. And obviously, because it's electric, there's no exhaust pipes like on the standard GLB, though there's still like hints of where they might have been there. A little bit of fakery continuing. Here on the inside, the EQB is very similar to a normal GLB, but there are some differences. For instance, you get as standard the larger infotainment screens, and you have some battery information here as well, and your energy consumption in kilowatt hours. There's also an EQ mode here on the main infotainment screen, so it gives you details on charging options, your consumption, your energy flow, and all that kind of things. There's some blue electric stitching there on the seats, and some more blue electric stitching on the center console, and some blue electric piping on the mats. You've also got blue electric inserts on the vents as well, and there's some blue electric EQB badging on the sills. Other than that, nothing has changed. So you've got decent practicality in here, big door bins, look, there we go. Enough space for my BMW flask in my Mercedes vehicle.
How can I help?
You can help by not interrupting me when I'm trying to do a blooming piece to camera. Go away.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Just go away, go, shoo. You're just interrupting me. Slowing down this video. People will be clicking out. Piss off.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with it right now.
Anyway, like I was saying, yeah, very similar to the GLB. So the infotainment system is good, apart from when the voice commands interrupt you. But it only happens if you say the M word. Yeah, very easy to use. Nice clear display, lots of information, though the reality is you're just going to plug in your phone and either use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Here in the back in the EQB, once again, you've got these blue electric bits. Other than that though, it's identical to the normal car in terms of knee room and headroom, which is good. What is different though is the fact that because you've got the batteries underneath the floor, the footwells aren't as recessed as in the normal GLB, so your feet are a little bit higher, so your knees are also a little bit higher, which means you've got less under thigh support, so it's not quite as comfy on a longer journey, though it's not a deal breaker. After all, the big thing about this car is that it's an EV SUV that you can get with 7 seats, though I've handily got the 5-seater version to review. So I'm going to have to illustrate what it's like as a 7-seater by doing this. Oh yes, here we are in the back of the EQB. Oh yes, it may be a 7-seater, but it is quite tight back here. If you would like to see a review of another 7-seater EV SUV that is a bit more roomy in the back, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Now, if you get the 7-seat version of this car, the boot capacity is 465 litres, whereas for this 5-seater version, it is 495 litres, which may seem pretty decent. However, it's about 100 litres down on the normal GLB, and it's still quite a lot less than some other electric SUVs. One in particular is my favourite. If you want to see what that car is, click on the pop-out banner up there, follow the link in the description below. There are some other slightly frustrating things about this boot. You see, while you do have like storage areas like that net there and another net here. Oh, look. I wonder where I'll put my Lexus hat. Very handy on a cold day like today. And while you get things like the 12-volt socket, some strappage, there's no releases for the back seats here in the boot. So to lower the back seats, you have to walk around here and pull the tabs on the seats down here, which is a bit annoying. And that brings us on to 5 other annoying things about this EQB. As we all know, because electric cars don't have big internal combustion engines under the bonnet, there is usually room for some storage in a front boot. So let's just use the front boot of this EQB to store my Audi bag. Oh, right, yeah, because this car is based on a normal internal combustion engine model, it's not quite so well packaged as bespoke, built from the ground up electric cars. That should be fine there. I'm sure it's going to be fine and it won't suddenly burst into flames. If the thought of sitting on dead animal skin makes you feel a bit ugh, you can get a vegan interior on this car. In fact, it's the only option available in the UK. The only thing is that you still have to have your hands on dead animal, because even with the vegan interior, the steering wheel, oddly, is still leather. The towing capacity of the Mercedes EQB is 1.8 tonnes, which is 200 kilograms less than the diesel GLB. So that could be the difference between only being able to tow a 4-berth caravan rather than a 6-berth one. This is a £50,000 car, yet if you want adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist, you have to pay an extra £1,500. I don't know why it's not standard. Do you know what I mean? I would recommend that if you do a lot of miles, you need active cruise control with lane keeping assist. It just makes driving so much easier, and you get it as standard, that kind of thing, on a Toyota Yaris. A Toyota Yaris. Do you hear this noise? It's like there's someone with a Dremel multi-tool just shaving away bits underneath the bonnet. It's something to do with the electric motor system or the inverter. It just makes this whirring sound sometimes. That's not the only annoying thing. Also, this car's really heavy, weighing at 2.1 tonnes because of all the batteries, when you compare that to the heaviest GLB, which comes in at 1.8 tonnes. Don't worry, there's still plenty to like about this car. Here's the carwow 5 cool features. You see these steering wheel mounted paddles here. In a normal internal combustion engine car, they are for changing gears. Not here though, they're for altering the amount of regen you get from the car when you lift off the accelerator. So you can put it into a real severe one-pedal driving experience where it'll basically brake the car when you lift off the accelerator quite abruptly. Or you can just ease it off slightly and actually have it so it'll freewheel, like you just put it in neutral when you lift off and just coasts. That's not the best thing to do though. The best thing to do though is to put it into auto mode, because then the car will actually judge the traffic conditions, the roads you're driving on and how you're driving, and it will apply either regen or coasting for maximum battery efficiency. Like that. You can get an app for your phone which allows you to monitor various functions on the car remotely. You can also preheat it, which is ideal on a day like today when it's freezing, so you can get in it and it's actually nice and warm and all defrosted. Now the good thing is that if you are preheating the car when it's plugged in charging, it won't take energy from the battery, it'll take it straight from the grid, so you have 100% battery when you get into the car. If you're doing a long distance, the car sat-nav will actually plot in your route to account for charging times and tell you where to stop and how long to stop for, so that you can get there as quickly as possible but with enough charge so that you don't start pooing your pants thinking you're going to run out of battery. Now, I put in a route to Edinburgh and it says I'll get there at about 8:15. However, I did the same thing as if I was driving direct without stopping. You know, if I had a diesel GLB, which I could do on a 4-tanker diesel. Then I get there at just after 5 o'clock. Anyway, shut up. Thanks to this blanked out grille and a flat underfloor, the new EQB is more aerodynamic than the GLB on which it is based. It has a drag coefficient of 0.28 CD compared to 0.3 for the standard car. That not only helps improve efficiency, but it might also help reduce the amount of wind whistle you get when you're driving at high speed. You can store, come on, the load cover underneath the false floor. Now there is space under there for your cables. Can you see the cables there? And there's actually no dedicated space for this load cover. Well, you think there's not, look. But if you wedge it in there and put it in there, you can still shut this and it will lock shut, look. So it still works. Bit of a cheat, but it'll do. Let's talk batteries and charging. So the EQB has a 66 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is good for up to 257 miles on a single charge. Now, if you're charging off a 7 kilowatt wall charger, it'll take you 11 hours to go from empty to completely full. Now, it also has DC charging, look, DC charging ports, and you can charge up to 100 kilowatts, which isn't that fast by today's standards. Still, you can go from 10% full to 80% full in just 35 minutes. Anyway, let's drive this thing. Okay, let's try out this EQB. First thing to do, test that electric car performance. Whoop, yep, it picks up good. So good. I shocked the safety systems into thinking I was going to crash into the car in front. I've got it set up with a sporty throttle response, but I've got everything else set to comfort, because if you don't have the sporty throttle response, so if you're in eco or comfort mode, it really dulls the responsiveness of the accelerator pedal and you don't want that. Everything else though you need in comfort, including the suspension. Because this is a heavy car, they've had to beef up the springs over the normal GLB. As a result, it feels a little bit firmer, but with the adaptive suspension fitted on this car in the comfort setting, it's actually pretty good over bumps. Now, I was worried about what it would be like because the EQA, which is the sister car to this, when I drove it, it just seemed a little bit too firm, whereas this one is much better. It is comfortable, and of course you've got a really good raised driving position, so visibility out of here is really nice. Big back window, great view out of that, really big side mirrors as well. It's a nice car, and the electric powertrain does suit it, especially when you're driving around town, because obviously you've got no gears to mess around with. You can put it into maximum regen mode, which I have, so you can do one pedal driving and really just control it on the throttle. It's quite a relaxing driving experience. I actually prefer it overall to the internal combustion engine car. Now, as electric cars go, it's not cutting edge in terms of efficiency and how far you can get out of it from a single charge, but as an overall car, it's really, really nice. And you know what, when you're driving around town, it actually runs in rear drive mode most of the time. It only goes into four-wheel drive and sends power to the front when you really put your foot down. And you can sometimes feel, once again, look, so you put your foot down, it does respond because the safety system's getting concerned again. You really can feel the power going to the front, because the fronts even start to lose a bit of traction as they scrabble for grip. In terms of grip, go around the corner, there's plenty of it. It's not the sportiest feeling car. You do notice that it responds quite quickly to initial steering input, but then because it's a heavy thing, the rate of turn that you get doesn't quite match the amount of initial response you get. Now this is where electric cars really come into their own, just driving around residential areas or in town, and this is fine, you know, over speed humps, it's all very comfy. The steering is super light. I'm loving the serenity of the fact that there's no petrol or diesel engine rattling away in front of me. And so too probably the people around here. You know, when you start your car in the morning, all they're ever going to hear is a bling, bling, bling as it sort of boots up. No cold start of an engine. And when you're on the motorway as well, all you notice is a bit of wind noise and tyre noise. It's actually a relaxing car to travel long distance in, apart from obviously the range. but thankfully you've got the sat nav, haven't you, to help you plan your route so that you go via charging points. If you've got the budget and you want a GLB, this will be the one to get. Though you do have to pay quite handsomely for going electric. Last thing to do, let's just check one pedal driving. Please stop properly, please stop. No, it didn't. So it looks like you don't have full on one pedal driving, so it won't bring the car to a complete stop. It will slow it quite dramatically when you lift off the accelerator, but it's not like in a Tesla where it will actually stop you completely. See, look, I'm just doing it again, lift it off. We're still coasting a bit, just a bit, just a bit. Still coasting, now accelerating. Yeah, off we go. The front wheel's scrapping again, it's weird. Now it's not pushing right back into your seat acceleration, but it's as fast as you ever need. Oh God, I keep setting this thing off. Calm down, Mercedes, I'm not gonna crash, I've got this. Still, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So then what's my final verdict on the Mercedes EQB? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the EQB. I mean, the normal GLB is a really good car, and this is a very nice electric version. And really, if you want a 7-seat SUV, you basically got the choice of this, a Model Y or a Model X. That's it. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know some other videos you'd like to see in the comments below. Click on those windows there to watch some more videos. And if you click on that box there, you can actually sell your car through CarWow, and you'll get a great price from our dealers because they'll bid on your car. So go do that. It's free. Check it out.